Gotta let it finish. What a track, man. That's from Motion Workers. I think it's his first album, second album, mixed emotional features. Nice little throwback to 1999 there. Anyway, good afternoon, everybody. How's it going? It's me, Drew Lentz, the wireless nerd, and this is your episode of Waves for August 13th. Today is Tuesday. It's 5:30 in the afternoon. Just having a heck of a week. So much stuff going on. Yeah, just what a busy day. You know, I've been wrestling with AdWords all day. It's been a while since I got into Google AdWords. I've been in there tweaking some settings for some of the advertisements for one of the products that we've got going on and fixing up the Wi-Fi stand stuff. So let me know if you see a Wi-Fi stand ad up on a search, excuse me, or on social media or something. Give me a holler. Let me know. Want to make sure it's working. Anyway, so good afternoon, everybody. Hi, everybody out there in X-Land. Hopefully we don't break X, like they did last night. Somehow I'm not worried about it. Excuse me. I don't know if there's going to be a million people tuned into this, but this is me. This is not a likeness of me, although I was just flipping through an article that doesn't have anything to do with wireless, but the DeepLiveCam is going viral, allowing anyone to become a digital doppelganger. So Ars Technica, one of my favorite sources, under the headline Deep Deception with Binge Edwards. Over the past few days, a software package called DeepLiveCam has been going viral on social media because it can take the face of a person extracted from a single photo and apply it to a live webcam video source while following pose, lighting, and expressions performed by the person on the webcam. While the results aren't perfect, it shows just how quickly the tech is developing. It's the #1 trending repo on GitHub right now. Pretty crazy. It went from 4 to 1 pretty quickly. It's available for free, so get it while you can. Interesting. DeepLiveCam. I'm going to have to download that and see if we can have some fun with it. But this is yours truly. Not that it matters, I guess. A lot of people, compared to the people that listen to the podcast versus watch the video, I mean, we get a decent amount of plays. I could use more. I could use about 300, 400 more subs on YouTube for me to get to Mexico with my wife. We're about to hit 700 on there, which is kind of cool. So I appreciate, if I had a little applause button, I'd hit that. But I appreciate everyone who subscribes to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, run over to youtube.com/@wirelessnerd and subscribe to it, because I would love to do this broadcast from Mexico. It's still out there. My wife says that she'll be happy to take me to Mexico, San Miguel de Allende, and you are welcome to join us if you'd like to come to San Miguel. If you've never been, it's a great place. So make sure to tell your friends, tell your family, have a good time. I don't use the funny YouTuber voice. Maybe I should. Do you think I'll get more views? I did change my thumbnails, though. I took a minute to look at my thumbnails and have some fun with those. So that's been pretty cool. I'm using AI for everything, which is kind of neat. I'm a big believer in AI bitches, as Lee Badman would say. Speaking of AI bitches, couple things on that note that have made the news in the last week. First and foremost, my thoughts go out to anyone who is going to be affected tomorrow after the earnings call. I think is when it's scheduled to hit. But Cisco has made the announcement that they're laying off another 4,000 people. It's a second set of layoffs this year. As you know, or maybe you don't know, I got hit in the first one, and I have nothing negative to say about Cisco, not because I can or because I can't, but because they actually really did a good job taking care of us. It's pretty neat. I feel like my time there was cut a little bit short, but, I did get to do all the amazing things that I wanted to do. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of those feelings coming up pretty soon. Number of people affected could be similar to or slightly higher than the 4,000 employees Cisco laid off in February, according to Reuters. It'll likely be announced as early as Wednesday with the company's fourth quarter results, said the sources. But the thing that the thing that gets me is, it's like Cisco didn't reply for comment, Reuters reported the job cut, blah, 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 blah. But then it takes this turn, and it says the company has been trying to incorporate AI products into its offering, and it may reiterate its target of $1 billion worth of AI product orders in 2025. And so now it's the layoffs are the latest in the tech industry, which has been cutting costs this year to offset some investments in AI. So, to quote Lee Badman, AI, bitches. Speaking of, another interesting article on the AI front, which is kind of a bummer because I was looking forward to seeing that thing get pretty crazy, was Humane, the AI pin, the one that the guy talked about at at TED Talks. It's, it looked like it was going to be a really neat step in the direction of having a wearable that could understand contextually where you are and what you were doing and how you were doing it. And they would be able to use that to present information. When you said, all you have to do is, tap in and say, what's the weather outside? Or, what's on my calendar today? Or, where's a nice place to go to lunch? It could understand all of where you are and what you're doing. However, it doesn't seem like it landed very well. People are returning Humane AI pins faster than Humane can sell them. Return devices are currently e-waste that cannot be reassigned per The Verge. Again, Ars Technica broke this article. The Verge talked about it on Wednesday, and Humane is now reportedly, give me a second here, reconnecting. There we go. Don't know what happened. Just lost out for a second there. Internet usually works pretty well during the day at my house, but it's only when I broadcast that it pops up and says reconnecting. Anyway, we're talking about Humane and their AI pin returns, which is kind of a bummer for a segment in that industry. The AI pin is a lapel pin that markets numerous features: voice assistant, camera, laser projector. The creators claim will replace smartphones as a go-to gadget. It costs $700. It requires a $24 a month subscription, not including taxes and fees. So it is a bummer that it isn't taking as well as people thought it would. The Verge said it viewed internal sales data showing returns outpacing device accessory sales with about $9 million. Internal data also revealed that 1,000 AI pin orders were canceled before they even shipped. So rocky start to that, but that doesn't mean the end of it. And the team that are behind that, I hope they bounce back from that pretty quickly. So no AI for you, I guess, is that one. That's the opposite. Too much AI and too little AI. Where's the happy medium there? Where does it make its way into it? Anyway, what else we got going? Speaking of AI, earlier this month, the European Commission approved unconditionally the proposed acquisition of Juniper by HPE. Yay! Breath of fresh air, seeing that coming from the EU, saying, look, it's cool. We're not worried about it. But also kind of some shade in there. As you know, HPE supplies IT infrastructure, related software and cloud solutions. Juniper supplies networking infrastructure and security solutions. The concern was about the overlap. Is there going to be overlap between switching and wireless? Is there going to be overlap between HPE and Juniper? And the EU is like, nah, they don't really compete. Wow. Okay. I mean, thanks, but thanks for the slap in the face. HPE and Juniper are not considered the closest competitors in the EEA market, the body concluded. Yowza. So, okay. And they said, to add a little bit of salt to that wound, the European Commission found that the EA, the merged entity's market position would remain moderate, and it would continue to face competition from a wide range of competitors, including those strongly established players on the market. Wow. So, they got some cojones there. The European Commission was like, we don't really see that as a threat to anyone else. But you know what? I mean, like, I'm glad that they said it's cool that they don't have an issue with it merging. But I am interested to see what becomes of this because after the merger. I mean, I do think it will pose competition. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Those two come together. I mean, it's gonna be pretty crazy. I think it will create some competition in the space, especially again, look, I mean, we talked about this before. It's when there's turmoil in a marketplace where you've got, big solid number one now laying off another 4,000 people. And now, saying AI, and then it doesn't seem like the guards are at the gate, man. I don't know how else to say it. I'm just looking at this. I'm going, golly, this is a big open opportunity for people to creep in. And, with Juniper and HP coming together, they may not be big now, separate. We'll see. We will see. What else we got going on? The China's launching a mega constellation. Sounds a lot like Starlink. When I started to read more about Starshield and what Starlink's doing with Starshield and the government and how they are, what it could possibly be used for, it was only a matter of time before China started launching stuff into space. The first batch of 18 satellites for one of those Chinese networks are going to be launched into low Earth orbit on Tuesday. So I guess that was today. I don't know. This is a week ago, so maybe it was last Tuesday. A Long March 6A rocket delivered 18 spacecraft into polar orbit. So they've got a constellation of satellites that are going up there Chinese officials have long signaled their interest in deploying a satellite network, or maybe several, to beam broadband internet across China and other nations in its sphere of influence. There's a lot going on in the world right now. So China's jumping into that game. But, what I'm really interested to see is Project Kuiper and what's going on with Amazon. They had that win in, I think it was South Africa, where they won the opportunity to do business there. And I'm waiting for them to get going. It's going to be cool to see them enter the market and play alongside with Starlink. So that'll be pretty interesting. Along those notes, something that affects all of us every day. Not a lot of this has to do with, I guess satellites are wireless, but this doesn't have much to do with wireless, but it does at the same time. Because as you know, when you jump online and you click on a link and you want to look at a web page, whether it's on your mobile browser, whether it's on a laptop or a tablet, use HTTP, right? Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It goes back and forth. And hold on, did I get that right? Is it Hypertext Transfer Protocol? Ooh, meaning he's got to look it up. Yes, I did get it right. Golly, I don't even know why I'm doubting myself on that one. That's like old school internet. Anyway, use HTTP to go back and forth, and it's always gone across TCP. And now, as things started to progress with Google Chrome, Quick started to make its way into the world, and now HTTP3 is Quick, right? This post is all about HTTP3 and Quick. If you don't know what it is, there are many, 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 many good resources. There is an article posted about this at kmcd.dev. It's called Y'all Are Sleeping on HTTP3. And it talks about why Quick is so awesome and why it feels important. HTTP3 abandons TCP in favor of a channel-aware UDP-based protocol called Quick. And all I can think of, y'all, is the joke that I would tell you a UDP joke, but I don't care if you get it. Or I could tell you a TCP joke and you don't acknowledge it. And it doesn't matter if you get it or not, and all those other funny T-shirts that are made out of it. But this is interesting to see to me because there's some true benefits here. And I think when you talk about network optimization and what you're doing over wireless for a long time it wasn't the fastest part of the connection. Some could say, but all of these modifications and things that are being made, not just at the protocol level, at the web level, and everything else, are definitely going to help. So it does, even though the connections are getting stronger and more resilient and better and faster and more throughput, things like this are going to help incredibly. 30% of web traffic is served with HTTP3 right now. And what's wrong with TCP? Some of the highlights that they put on here are multiple streams. It's only one connection with TCP. It isn't good in dynamic network environments. Why can't I use Wi-Fi and mobile at the same time? Kind of important. This is actually possible with TCP using a feature called multipath TCP, but the rollout has been slow and difficult. Quick's built-in support for connection migration and zero RTT resumption offers a smoother and more efficient solution, potentially enabling true multipath connectivity in the future. Yay! Now, when you this is part of what makes this fascinating to me is that when you build that in and then you look at where we are with a multi-link optimization with MLO, and then now you look at what's coming down the pipe with Wi-Fi 8 with not just link aggregation but multiple AP aggregation, now you need something that supports multipath in your ability to not just send but also to receive packets on your web browser. So what you're looking at needs to be able to handle that. So it doesn't mention it in here, but I'm looking at that going, okay, well, does that mean that it's going to work better there? So Quick and HTTP3, faster connections, fewer round trips instead of 3 needed for TLS plus HTTP. Quick has just 1, 0 round trip time resumption, multiplexing, improved congestion control, lots of really cool stuff. So it's neat to see that HTTP3 is jumping on that. And there's a statistic here. Most major cloud providers support it. Most major load balancers support it. All major browsers now support it. It's in 30% of web traffic. So the downside is if you're doing protocol analysis and you're looking at web traffic and you're looking at, you're trying to pull that traffic apart, you can see TCP traffic, you can see where it's going and coming to, but because of the multiplexing, I believe, and because of the nature of Quick, sometimes you just see it listed as Quick traffic. So I haven't looked at those packets in a long time, but does this mean that we lose the ability to go and look at host, a source and destination and things like that? So I'm curious because I know with Quick, once you saw Quick, it's like, oh, can't say anything, it's in Quick. So I wonder if that's going to be effective. It could sound really dumb, and I think that that's right. So I'll take a look at it. If you have any insight into that, let me know or post online. Anyway, what else we got going on? So HTTP3 and quick, very, very cool, affecting every little thing that we do. What else is being affected? Earlier this month, other things that are going on. Oh, this was fascinating. Kroger's new dynamic AI pricing scheme is, quote, corporate greed out of control, say the critics. And this is a story that ran online. And I don't even know if this is a legit website or not. It's called Raw Story. Julia Conley from Common Dreams. I don't even know if that's a real person in a real place. But posted this article, and it's talking about expressing doubt that new artificial intelligence-powered dynamic pricing model used by Kroger is truly meant to better the customer experience. Senator Elizabeth Warren said on Friday, the practice shows how corporate greed is out of control. Here's the thing, man. This is a tough one. So it goes on to talk about what Kroger, how they started using information, electronic shelf labels and shelf information, and what they're doing with that data. Nearly, let's see, it says it first introduced in 2018, expanded 500 of 3,000 stores last year. The company's partnered with Microsoft to develop electronic shelf labels known as Enhanced Display for Grocery Environments, or EDGE, using a digital tag to display prices in stores so employees can change the prices throughout the day with the click of a button. Now, enter cameras and enter intelligence, right? Enter artificial intelligence. Through its work with intelligence known to Microsoft, Kroger has gone beyond just changing prices based on the time of day or other environmental factors and is seeking to tailor the cost of the good to individual shoppers. Now, this is fascinating to me. And you think about surge pricing with what's happening with vehicles whenever you do like an Uber or whatever. But when you look at what can happen in a grocery store, it's interesting. And so one of the things that the senator just mentioned, I'm gonna read this real quick. It says, the Edge shelf helps Kroger gather and exploit sensitive customer data. Okay, I disagree with the term exploit and also sensitive. Through a partnership with Microsoft, Kroger plans to place cameras at digital displays, which will use facial recognition tools to determine the gender and age of a customer captured on camera and present them with personalized offers and advertisements on the Edge shelf. All right, let's break that down real quick. It's using a camera to do facial recognition, okay? But it's using the data from that facial recognition to say, all right, well, you know what? Drew is a middle-aged white guy. We're going to make the price of Spam go up, or we're going to make it go down, or we think he's more likely to buy this or less likely to buy this, or maybe I'm more likely to pay more for craft beer than I am for something else. So as I walk down the aisle, it's going to change the pricing based on me. First of all, very cool use of technology. I got to say, that's kind of awesome if it's a benefit. But I understand there could be some concern. Also, there's a benefit here, right? If there's nobody in the store and nobody shopping, and they know that they've got to, dump the fruit, or there's only 2 days left on, before expiration of certain, dairy products or whatever it is, and it knows that, Drew's the only person we've seen for the last 3 hours. Let's, tank the price of milk so we can get rid of it and he can get what he needs and everybody wins. That's kind of awesome. I've seen this technology in action for the most part, not tied together like this, but at the retail show, the NFR show, National Federation of Retailers, in New York this past year. It was so cool to see this. I mean, it's interesting. They set up cameras on one side of the aisle to look at the other side of the aisle and vice versa. And it does everything from make sure that there's inventory to look at the labels, make sure it's facing right, and see what people pick up and see where people go. And do they reach for a top shelf or go to the bottom shelf? So I can understand where it's coming from. I don't know that it would be used for price gouging. But then again, I live in a world where I don't think people take advantage of each other. So that's one of those things where it's like, I guess if you look at it in a negative way, it could be seen that way. But I mean, how do you present that in a way, or how do you ask a company to use the data to not do something what's negative? Right. Anyway, the same thing that's going on. I mean, this is happening in the hotel industry and in the Airbnb industry right now, where they're saying, are they using data to, run through basically surge pricing on properties, on houses, on rentals, on, like I said, Airbnbs or hotel rooms or whatever it is. So interesting concept. Definitely, what's great about this is you think about ESL and electronic shelf labels. That's all. I mean, these things are all connected via wireless. So this is how it falls in my realm, or at least I justify that I'm going to talk about it. But it's Aruba has a killer ESL product. Mist has a killer ESL product. Cisco has an incredible ESL product. SES Imagitag, and I forgot what they're called now. they did change their name, but those are the guys that I saw at, what are they called now? I don't remember what they're called. Anyway, they were the ones that had the booth up at Vusion, Vusion. So Vusion, technology for positive commerce. I mean, if you want to take a look at it, go to vusion.com, vusion.com, and you can see some of the ways that they're doing this. And it's not just about changing pricing and how that relates down to the label, but it's about the entire ecosystem that runs around this. So if you've never looked into this and you want to see something really cool, definitely go check it out. And Vusion is supported, the Imagitag stuff is supported by a number of wireless manufacturers. So if this is something that, if you're in the space of retail or if you're in the space of someplace that needs electronic shelf labels, there is some really, really, really cool technology out there that's being enabled. So take a look at that. I'm going to leave that one for last. Let's see, what else do we got? China, we've got Quick, we've got Humane, we've got Cisco, we've got the European Commission, we've got Kroger. VTOL for the Olympics. Man, at CES every year, they have this, they talk about what's going to happen when people can start launching, vehicles and during vertical takeoff and landing. And it says, VTOL is supposed to be setting up for LA 2028. Archer is the name of the company. It's setting up air taxi network in LA 2026. Ahead of the World Cup. So that will be crazy to see. There's basically big drone, vertical takeoff and landing drones, and they've got a map that's published online. You can take a look at the Archer LA network map, and you can see where it's flying to and from. And Archer's partnered recently with Southwest Airlines. It gives Archer access to airline customer data to identify locations for vertiports. Vertiport. I've never been to a vertiport before. I wanted to fly Blade one time when I was in New York City. They have this really cool deal. You pay, a couple $100 and you get on a helicopter, and instead of waiting 2.5 hours to fly out east, you could just jump on a Blade and do it in 20 minutes. And I wanted to feel special, but I didn't do it because, dude, that's like $500 or $600 out of my realm. That's above the threshold for me feeling special. I'll feel special for like $200 maybe, but definitely not $500. That's a lot to spend. Doesn't fly underneath the wife radar. Anyway, and also, how do I explain getting there 4 hours early or 3 hours early by taking? Oh, I took a helicopter over here, babe. It's cool. Anyway, but my dreams may soon come to fruition in 2028. By using VTOL at the Olympics. That'd be kind of cool. What else is going on? News for people that operate wireless networks. Instagram is embracing photo dumping. 20 photos compared to 35 of TikTok. I didn't know you could put 35 photos on TikTok at once. You can do that on TikTok, and now Instagram is jumping up to 20. So you can upload 20 photos on each of your posts now instead of the old school 10. So man, it's like I have photos everywhere. I've got photos on my hard drive. I've got photos on multiple drives. I've got photos on Flickr. I'm like a Flickr lifetime member. I've got photos on Google Cloud. I miss Picasa. Does anybody miss Picasa? I miss AC/DC, the old Windows software. Anyway, there's all these places that photos are. When's someone just going to develop a way to have all of your photos in one place and not have to worry about, I feel like George Costanza, like the wallet that he carries, but with my photographs. I have photographs of every event, and like, what do I ever do with them? Nothing. I go back every once in a while when I have to remember something. But that's what AI is for. That's what I can't wait for. I can't wait to be able to load all of my photographs into AI so that I can just ask myself questions. That's going to be awesome. Maybe, I don't know how close Gemini is to working on that with Google. And I don't know maybe Meta's doing. Huge announcements from Meta on the AI front, and not covered on this show, but dude, what they're doing with Llama is incredible. And it's built into everything. It's all over my Instagram. It's all over WhatsApp. It's all over Facebook. It's everywhere, man. So hopefully soon they'll integrate that with photos, being able to say, what was the name of the restaurant that I ate at with my wife in 2022 in San Jose, and we had lobster. Look at the photos and find out. Maybe it's already there. Hell, I don't know. If only I knew someone over at Meta AI. Just kidding. Hi, guys. Good to see you. Anyway, what else we got going on? Hackers could spy on cell phone users by abusing the 5G baseband flaws, researchers say. This was pretty cool. Using a custom-made analysis tool they called 5G Base Checker, the researchers uncovered baseband vulnerabilities made by Samsung, MediaTek, and Qualcomm, which are used in phones made by, Google, Oppo, OnePlus, Motorola, Samsung, nobody big. Hussein is an assistant professor at Penn State, told TechCrunch that he and his students were able to trick phones with these vulnerabilities in their 5G basebands into connecting to fake base stations, essentially a fake cell phone tower, and then launch their attacks from there. Because once they're on your network, you can do whatever you want to do with them. This was covered in TechCrunch, is where I read it. Lorenzo Franceschi Bicciaria. I've bicciaria'd your name. Sorry about that. But, I at least like to give credit to the people that wrote the article. I didn't write this article, but it's pretty cool. Hackers could spy on cell phone. This is on TechCrunch. A group of researchers say they've uncovered a series of security flaws in different 5G basebands, and they present their findings at Black Hat on Las Vegas last Wednesday, as well as in an academic paper. And they've said that, the different groups have said that they are fixing this, or that they have fixed it. At the time of writing, the researchers identified and got patched 12 vulnerabilities in different 5G basebands. But it's just showing that there's a different way to attack the network now. And as we move towards more complicated or more complex networks, away from a simple AP into multiple frequencies, multiple APs, multiple connections, now there's just multiple vulnerabilities. It seems like there's more places that people can take advantage of data or take advantage of those connections. So I'm curious how something like this is going to have these long-term effects, or, this is just the beginning of someone doing something with 5G baseband. Where does it go from here? I, for one, welcome our AI overlords. Yes, we got a comment from YouTube. Luis, fantastic. I love our AI overlords. There's a lot of fun stuff if, I really enjoy using AI tool sets and having a good time with them. I wrote an entire application stack using AI. So I guess I can't say that I wrote it, but I told ChatGPT to write it, and it did just a bang up job. I'm not going to lie. I had a really good time doing a no-code project, and I posted about it on LinkedIn. It's where I took 2 Raspberry Pis and I plugged a microphone into one, and I set it up outside, and I took another one and I hooked it up. I've got speakers in a bunch of the rooms in my house, and I plugged it into my whole home audio system, and I made it so that I could tune to that, to that channel, or to that port on my audio system, and it would play back whatever it was hearing outside. And I put the microphone outside outside the door over here, and I could hear the birds, I could hear the chirping, I could hear the crickets, I could hear everything that was out there. And it was a neat way. I don't want to open the windows and the doors in 108-degree heat, but I still wanted to feel like I was outside. So I got to have the outside inside. It was a pretty cool project, and so I had a real good time doing that. But I did I had ChatGPT write every single piece of code on there, which was one of the main reasons I did it. I wanted to see if I could write a program without actually writing a program, and I did it. So the AI overlords, man, love them or hate them, AI bitches. Lee Badman, eat your heart out. Can't wait to see you, man. Hope I get to see you pretty soon. Anyway, what else we got? Now, speaking of hackers, before I get into that, Doom and Doom 2 get a definitive release that's packed with upgrades. The classic games are now available in a combined package with cross-platform online multiplayer in an in-game mod browser, a new single-player episode, and more. Bethesda surprise dropped on Thursday. Doom and Doom 2. Go check it out. I don't even know where it's at the slayersclub.bethesda.net, or if you go to bethesda.net for Bethesda software. Doom and Doom 2. Man, I'm going to go download and play it this afternoon. Have some fun with that. So that goes, first WordStar and now Doom. I love it. What else is going to come out? If there's a Crystal Caverns, or if there's an old school Duke Nukem that pops up, color me happy. That would be awesome. Okay. So the other thing that happened last week, that I thought was pretty interesting, and some stuff came out of, good stuff and bad stuff, was Defcon. Defcon was last week. It started with Black Hat, then led into Defcon, Madness at Defcon, all kinds of things that were happening out there. I was not there. That's a show I've never been to. Always wanted to go, and I've just never, I don't even know when it is. It's not on my regular calendar, so I never go, but maybe next year I'll really try and go. I would have so much fun, I think, just being a fly on the wall. So the Madness at Defcon, from this chair's perspective, the things that I saw that I paid attention to, first and foremost, the mess with the hardware and the firmware that was going on out there. Apparently, and don't get me wrong, if I mess this up, it's not my, this isn't really my space, but the Defcon paid a group to build the badges for them, and they went back and forth with the people that were making the badges, and there were overruns on timelines and budget and everything else, and so they canceled their contract with the people that were making the badge, and they moved it to someone else to make the badge. But the guy who wrote the firmware for the original badge, the firmware was written, I guess was already written, or maybe continued to write it. And so then there were some issues that they were having at the show. And then there was like all this drama where people were saying, well, DEF CON didn't pay their bill. And then the guy who wrote the firmware didn't get credit, and the other guys didn't get credit. So he put an Easter egg in, and they got dragged off the stage where he really didn't get dragged off the stage. It was kind of like a tongue-in-cheek type of thing. And there were all these things that happened. And then everything got posted online. But it was crazy to see, like, there was this whole upheaval. And it just made me think, and then all these memes started coming out about Dark Tangent, the guy who's the organizer for DEF CON. And it was like, man, how long before the conference turns on the conference? Because it almost felt like that was about to happen. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening with those badges out there, But it resonates with me, right? I've had projects go over in time and in money, and I know what it's like to work with with either a team or a manufacturer or a group that runs you through budget, and at some point you've just got to cut the line and move over to someone else to get the project done. So I get it. I'd hope they didn't stiff them though, because that's kind of, I don't know. Again, not my circus, not my monkeys over there. But it was crazy to read because that like blew up everywhere. And then there was the inspection of rooms that was happening. Seriously, I've stayed at Resorts World. What's up with that, man? I mean, if you're going to host the conference, like, go all in. But no, they sent out letters to people saying that there were going to be security checks and that they were going to go into people's rooms. And so there was 5 days ago, IMGA's 4063 post on Reddit that people were saying that they're going to do a security check in his room, and to prove that they weren't a threat or have devices that could compromise the network security in an aggressive way. They demanded to have their rooms open up and go through the stuff. And things escalated, and armed security guards came in with the intention of breaking the door down to get us out. They wouldn't reason. I opened the door. They aggressively asked for our IDs, started reading some of the policy out loud, escorted people out of the property without a care in the world, it says. On their way down the hall, there were many more security personnel knocking on doors and getting people out, just like a drug raid. Crazy, man. Cybersecurity professionals must stick together to make things right for the good of everyone. Discrimination cannot be tolerated. If you know how to help in any way, legally, awareness, etc., please do. That is on the r/DEFCON Reddit subreddit for DEF CON. There's just a lot of stuff that was happening out there. I get it. I mean, they want to look out for the security of their hotel. So that's why you host a hackers conference. Come on, man. Like, that just doesn't seem right. What's going on there? The other thing that didn't seem right, that Palo Alto Networks, for shame. I saw this posted online by someone who's a connection of a connection. Olivia Rose, veteran global CISO, executive advisor, security maturity. Miss Olivia Rose, I don't know you, and I don't know what you do. I don't even know who you work for. Let me scroll down. CISO and founder of the Rose CISO Group, board of directors for Cyversity, faculty member of IONS, CISO and VP of Amplitude, CISO for MailChimp in her past. Lots of good stuff there. She posted a picture online of Palo Alto Networks and Cyber Risk Collaborative Happy Hour with women wearing lampshades over their heads, completely covering their faces. And the comment was, so women are nothing more than props to you. We're only a black hat to be lampshade holders. Damn. I mean, Palo Alto, come on, dude. Poor taste. Whoever executed that one, that's tough, man. But the CMO of Palo Alto responded. Here it is. It says, last week a black hat, an unfortunate decision was made at Palo Alto Networks event to have hostesses wear branded lampshades on their heads. It was tone deaf and poor taste and not aligned with our company values or brand. I take full responsibility for the misjudgment. I've addressed it with my team and I'm taking further steps to prevent such misguided actions in the future. Please accept my heartfelt apologies for this regrettable incident. Also, I should add this note that in the event they read the comments here, Palo Alto should also be made aware that I've personally received multiple messages from women about the company who are too scared to speak up about this decision. Quite a bro culture going on there, sounds like. Dang, man. So I'm glad they addressed it, but that was like terrible optics. I mean, I don't know. I have nothing to say other than that was rough, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not cool. Anyway, so I mean, DEFCON was making the headlines for all these weird things. That's what I'm saying. Not weird, just like things that aren't related to what it's supposed to be about. And then when it came for actual content, I didn't read much. I didn't read much about the presentations. I didn't read much about anything groundbreaking that was going on there because there was so much buzz. I don't want to say static. It's not the right word. There's so much other stuff being talked about. It's important stuff. I mean, the badge hardware issues, stiffing the badge company, the inspection of the rooms, the way that they mistreated females. I mean, this is like, dude, that's not what you want your conference to be known about. So that's kind of rough. But then the thing that did pop out was the HID keys, how they were showing how there were researchers on the DEF CON stage that showed how they were able to compromise HID keys, not by the hotel room keys, right? The HID is the name of the company, but how they were able to compromise it, not just from the key perspective, but they were HID warned customers about this existence. The method the researchers plan to show off allows the secret keys to be pulled out of the encoder. So at the hotel desk where they put the little key down and they encode your key, somehow getting access to that using one of their programming keys, getting access to the data that's on there, and then posting that to dark web and sharing it. So like if I go to the Hilton down the street and I grab that data and then share it with the dark web, now all of a sudden I've got everyone has access to the Hilton that's down the street from me. That's tough, man. That's a tough one to swallow. So that was the only big thing that I read about. I didn't see anything crazy about Wi-Fi. I didn't see anything crazy about IoT. I'm sure it was talked about, but all of the lights in the press were tuned and focused on what was going on with the other stuff. So if you know of anything that happened at DEF CON, please let me know. The HID thing was pretty nuts. The HID did warn the customers about the existence of this vulnerability and said hackers would be able to clone it. This was back in January. It has recommendations on how customers can protect themselves, but it offered no software update at the time. So I don't know if they ended up doing that or not, but that was the last thing that I heard about there. Anyway, that's what's going on. That's what I got this week. Fun week, man. Lots of fun stuff. Getting ready for the picture that I posted. I've got all the equipment sitting back there on the shelf right over there. Gonna do some fun test runs with that. What else? I spent this week. We got SignalRoam running on open Wi-Fi, which is pretty neat. I love the open Wi-Fi stuff and running SignalRoam across. It's very cool. Also, I've got my handy Prism right beside me, so I've got some testing to do with that. Shout out to IB Wave again. And I just found out, I don't even know if I can talk about it. Let me open my email and see if this is talk aboutable. Yay on the event. We'll share more details with you soon. There's an event coming up. There's a launch on August 21st. August 21st. That's in 9 or 8 days. There's a new launch coming out. I'm not going to say who or when, but what I will say is pone atención. Pay attention to what's happening in 8 days. There's going to be a really cool announcement about something that I got to see a while back, and I'm excited, and hopefully I'll be able to do a quick recording and we'll show it off here on the podcast so anyone who pays attention to Waves can read it or watch it. Anyway. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for listening. As usual, tell all your friends and your family about it. Make sure you like and subscribe. All right, chat. Appreciate it. Have a great week. I will talk to you all